Welcome to Second Listen Saturday on the Parenting Roundabout podcast, where we share some fun moments from a past episode for your weekend listening pleasure. Look for new episodes every Monday through Friday. We would like to vent about credit cards, and more specifically, credit cards for our kids. And should our kids have credit cards? And if they should, why will people not give them to them? So, my daughter got a letter in the mail the other day from her favorite store, Kohl's. Do you guys have Kohl's where you are?
Yes.
Okay.
It's based in our state.
There you go.
Wisconsin.
Well, my daughter loves it. She goes there all the time. She buys stuff online from them. She goes to the store. She loves it. So apparently one of the times she bought something at the store, they did the, do you want X% off if you fill out an application for a credit card? And she said, sure. Did not mention this to me because I would have obsessed about her writing down her social security number and, paper applications, but whatever.
Right.
She did that, and when she got this envelope, I thought, oh, isn't this nice? I guess she's going to get a store credit card. But what it was a turn down because she had no credit history. Now, back in my day, shortly after mankind stumbled out of caves, department store credit cards were like the training wheels credit card. You could always get a store credit card. And then after you build up some credit history on that, then you could get the Visa or the MasterCard or the whatever. Was it that way when you guys were kids too? Do you remember that? Or did you just go straight to the big gun?
The big kahunas.
I feel like I went to one that was somehow attached to my parents.
That
first.
is truly the training wheels one, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I seem to remember.
I don't remember if I ever had a store card until later in life.
Maybe I'm misremembering, but I seem to think that my mom had me get a, May Company or whatever the department store du jour was back then. So
I remember that being advised, though.
Yeah, that was an easy one to get. So I guess that is no longer the case. And it's odd because my son had an issue with his debit card where somebody had stolen, I guess, his debit card number and had bought something, and we had to get it. I mean, we were able to eventually get the charges reversed, but with a debit card, they take it out of your account and eventually put it back in. And I thought, you know what, this is no good. I'm going to get him a credit card because then you at least have that window of time when you haven't actually put any money out for them to resolve it. So he got one from his bank, and he got one with no problem. He also has no credit history. So I guess just maybe because it was his bank and they saw he had money in the bank, it was okay. So I guess I'm going to have to do that with her. But it seems weird to me that's necessary.
Well, let me tell you about credit cards.
Yes, tell me about credit cards.
In America.
Course, I will have to watch it like a hawk that she doesn't get overdrawn. But I would like her to try it. I will keep an eye. It would be a good experience.
Imagine being 40 years old and having lived in another country where you had access to credit cards and you had nice, sizable limits on your credit cards. And you lived life and enjoyed things freely. And then you moved to America.
Yeah.
And you're told that you have no credit history.
Oh, goodness.
And the most that they'll give you is a secured credit card for $500.
Oh, my.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So we had to establish our credit history when we moved here because they don't obviously look at, from where we came from, right?
Well, that seems silly.
So, yes. So for the first, I'd say 5 years that we lived in America, we maybe had the most $1,500 on our credit card limit until we built up, gradually over time, built it up. But it's a pain. And
because everything relies on, you have to have a credit card to do anything.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they don't look at what you're employed, what your income is at this. They do, but it's not as big a factor as this credit card history thing.
Right. Yeah. So I guess it's a good thing. Yeah, to having your kids start establishing that young. Now that you mention it, my son's credit limit on his credit card is extremely low, but it doesn't matter because he hasn't spent much. He doesn't have, a low limit is fine for him, but it would be a disaster for an adult with actual bills and things.
Right, with a family and...
it was tough. I actually had to rely on my credit card. I had one that I kept from Canada that, thank gosh, I kept it because
Well, if you go to a hotel, I mean, you have to have a credit card on file, and it's
exactly.
They might charge you more than $500, like depending on how long
It was very challenging the first couple of years.
I'll bet.
And then when my son went to university, we because he lacked credit card history, Bank of America started him out with a secured credit card, so he had to put $300 on it.
Oh wow!
So it was kind of like a bank card, but in credit card form. And then if he paid his bills on time for a year, then it switched over to unsecured, and he got his $300 back.
Oh wow!
So that's what's happened, and now he's just kept it. So he's been building credit card history since then. But yeah, my daughter, she's going away to college. We hope.
We'll discuss tomorrow.
So I've got to think about getting her set up on that too.
Yeah.
And we recently got my daughter a debit card that's attached kind of to our bank. You know, it's through our bank, but it's a separate account. Like, it's not drawing from our checking account. It's her own little checking account. But I wonder if that does anything in terms of helping her credit history.
Yeah, probably not, because you're not borrowing money and paying it back. I think that's what they want to see. I mean, but it seems like it must be, I guess it's a good thing to get your kids started with it as soon as safely possible. But then you have to really make sure that, you know, my daughter's been really, really good about spending within her budget when she's using a debit card, because she can go on and she can see how much money she has, and she knows, you know, she has this bill to pay, so she has this much money to spend. With the credit card, you kind of lose that. Yeah. So I will have to be peeking on her bank page just to make sure she's not. But you know what? Sometimes it's one experience of screwing up is good to have, as long as it doesn't have lifelong ramifications. I mean, we can always bail her out, I guess, if it comes to that. But I just was surprised. I didn't think that there would be a problem, since I guess the one with my son was so easy. But the problem is, the bank the two of them use is not the main bank that my husband and I use. And I don't like the way they do their credit card stuff online. The two credit cards I have, I really, really like. But I guess I have to get her the one that's from her bank, because she has a relationship there. I mean, I don't want to have to co-sponsor her or anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
another aspect of financials and kids.
Yeah.
Did any of you ever get in trouble with credit cards when you were young?
No. I think I was pretty good about being conservative when I was. And, you know, like, I worked when I was in college, so I had a little of my own money. And my parents were pretty hands-off about making, you know, letting me deal with it on my own. It always makes me think of that scene from The Sure Thing when they're like, they're traveling cross country and they're like stranded and there's rainstorm and, you know, and they're trying to pick a lock. So he says, "Do you have a credit card or something?" And she's like, "Yes. Oh, yes, I have a credit card." Like, suddenly they realize they're safe. But then she says, "Oh, but my dad said it's only for emergency." and then John Cusack says, "Well, maybe one will come up."
Yeah, the only time I think I misbehaved with a credit card a little bit is I talked here before about going to Europe in my sophomore and junior years of college, and I got one of those, you know, an American Express card for emergencies from my parents. And by the end of the 2 months of, you know, backpacking around and staying in substandard housing, I guess one would say, we got back to London and I got us a room at like this really expensive hotel. And I just said, I want a regular place to stay. And put it on the American Express card.
Shower.
Yeah, exactly. No more bed and breakfast. I want to stay someplace nice. So, yeah, so that was quite expensive. And I think I paid it off in various ways to my parents. But, it comes in handy
it was
sometimes.
Probably worth it.
It was definitely worth it. But, well, I guess we will travel into that area.
Yeah.
I guess I need to do that for her. I had kind of been putting it off, but she needs to start building that up because she should be able to get a card from her favorite store. That would be cool. That would be nice for her to have, except as long as she doesn't buy too much with it. But, she's working. She has some money.
Everything is usually on sale at that store.
Yes, so. It is pretty affordable.
Oh, yeah.
And,
But I like it.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Hey, Coles, we like you. Give our kids credit cards.
Please give our kids credit cards.
You don't have to pay for this free advertising.
That's right.
Just a nice, we're so sorry, Ms. Morrow. We apologize. Here's your lovely card.
Here's a card.